Hey, good morning, everyone. Trust you're doing really well this Tuesday morning. Got a leadership lesson for you today. Hopefully, we'll be able to return to rally in the days ahead. Right now, still having to deliver some video lessons until we can get back to all being together, maybe for a full rally. Wouldn't that be great? Hey, got a couple of announcements for you before we get too far in this morning. Just want to let everybody know today is a B day, so you got B day classes. Also, the second quarter comes to an end on Friday, so just continuing to remind scholars, be sure that you are monitoring your grades, turning in any missing work, because teachers will be working on completing grades during the teacher workday that's next Tuesday. So you're out of school Monday for the Dr. King holiday, and also out of school on Tuesday as teachers will be completing grades. So be sure you're keeping a check on your grades. Don't forget, take your tablets home each and every day. You never know when we might have to go remote for some reason, and we want to be sure that you have your device with you. Got a couple of birthdays this week. Let's see if I can pull them up here. Doesn't look like I have any birthdays during the actual week until Friday. Riley Summers, happy birthday. She has a birthday on the 15th. Isaiah Sierra, happy birthday. And Amaya Steele, happy birthday. They both have birthdays on the 16th, which is Saturday. So happy birthday to those guys. All right, guys, I'm going to jump right in. This week, we've been talking about courage. And so I'm going to continue on that. I took this screenshot yesterday afternoon. There weren't a whole lot of points in the system. Looked like Sabio House is coming out of the gate pretty strong, but everybody's right there in the game. So be sure you're working each and every day, every class period to earn as many as you can and lose as little as you can. So here's the term that we're focusing on this week. It's having the determination to do the right thing even when others don't. That's what courage is. And another part of that definition, it says attempting difficult things that are worthwhile. So I want you to be thinking about that term courage. And we're talking about Dr. King as our example of the courageous leader. And I talked a little bit about him yesterday. Not going to spend a whole lot of time on his life and actions today, but we'll return to him later in the week. But we certainly want to highlight his life, his legacy, and just take a look around the building. Like as you walk through Allen J. Prep, you'll see lots of quotes on the walls, some of which are like painted on acrylic glass. We have several of Dr. King's quotes there. There's one just outside the office, what we call a header, which is like above the hallway. Talks about intelligence plus character. That is the goal of education. That's a Dr. King quote. So be sure you're looking around and taking notice of all the ways that he has impacted not just American society, but what we do here at Allen J. Prep. So yesterday I told you the story of Miss Bridges. We said that she integrated into a school in New Orleans at age 6. Ruby was only 6 years old when she and her family made the decision that they would integrate into that all-white school. And you saw the video clip. It was a recreation, obviously, but those U.S. Marshals guiding her into the school as people were just hurling insults. People were actually throwing things. People spit on her as she attempted to integrate into that school. And that wasn't just a one-day thing. Like she and her family dealt with that for multiple days. And there's another story called the Little Rock Nine, where 9 high school students attempted to integrate as well. And only one of them actually was able to stay long enough to graduate. Something really cool about the Little Rock Nine, the one that graduated, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was at his graduation. I think it's a really cool story. So the Little Rock Nine and Ruby Bridges are great examples of courageous leadership. So I said yesterday, if Dr. King could advise you today, these are the things that I think he would be telling us. He'd tell us to be kind and considerate to other people. And he would also tell us not just be kind and considerate, but be courageous and take action. Don't worry about what other people think. You know what's right. So be courageous and do that. So I'm going to step away from the civil rights movement for today about courageous leadership. And I'm going to use an example out of nature to talk about courage. I think some of our best lessons can be learned just by observing the world that we live in. And the BBC, not too long ago, produced the Planet Earth, the video series, and it has 2 creatures that have an interaction that I just think is phenomenal. Now, this is a type of iguana, and this iguana lives out in a pretty kind of a desert or rocky region. And just like any other iguana, from time to time, he needs to go out and try to get some food. But like any creature out there, he has predators that are after him, and the predator that is after him every day of his life are these little venomous snakes. Now, I am not a snake fan. I know some of you guys may have a pet snake. I'm just not a snake fan. They don't appeal to me. I think when I see them just kind of slithering around, I just have no affection for snakes. But I want you to watch this interaction, okay? You got the iguana and the snake. And I want you to think about the courage. If we can put this attribute, this human attribute of courage in this iguana, I want you to think about this attribute of courage from this iguana.
A snake's eyes aren't very good, but they can detect movement. So if the hatchling keeps its nerve, it may just avoid detection. A near miraculous escape.
I love it, man. I think that's a really cool video clip. And I'm going to tell you the dramatic effect that comes from that music. And you can hear the snake kind of slithering. That is what you call a brood of vipers, a collection of snakes, man. And they were out to try to get that little iguana, but he kept himself poised even when they were trying to wrap him up, and continued. So here's another thing that I think Dr. King would tell us. If he were here today and he had an opportunity to speak to you, I believe he would tell you the same thing he would tell me. Believe in yourself. Courageous leadership is about believing in who you are and believing that you can accomplish whatever goals you set out to accomplish. And I think the other part that goes along with that is not to allow all the little snakes that show up in our lives to deter us, to slow us down, or to prevent us from accomplishing our goal. So I want you to be a believer in yourself. We'll talk some more about other things that he might tell us a little bit tomorrow, but I want to review some principles with you. These are just called 7 basic principles to believing in yourself. The first thing is understand that I'm responsible for creating my own happiness in life, not anybody else, right? So like what I do, I'm responsible for. So if I'm going to be happy in life, I need to create that. Second, it says, I know and follow my values and my principles on a daily basis. Now, this takes courage because your principles and your values may be different than some of the other people in your classroom or the kids that ride your bus or whatever. So you've got to be willing to follow those values on a daily basis. It talks about learning and improving with every new experience. Be committed to that. Be capable of overcoming obstacles in my life. You have to believe that. Like when you encounter an obstacle and something doesn't go your way, believe that you are capable of overcoming those things. I think this is the biggest one. One of the biggest principles for believing in yourself is understanding that my attitude can permeate all external conditions. That word means my attitude can kind of cover everything else that may not be going right. So if my attitude is kind of poor and angry and frustrated, that's going to show and that's going to make the situation worse. But if I have a positive attitude, a can-do attitude, an attitude where I want to help other people, that's going to help to improve all the conditions. Two other ones. It says I'm willing to make short-term sacrifices for long-term gratification. Basically, I'm willing to put in the work now so that my future can be blessed or I can have greater opportunity in the future. Putting in work now. And last but not least, says others respect me and see me as a source of insight and motivation. You want to be respected by other people. So the last thing I'll challenge you with this morning, this is called the 2% mindset. And you see all these words on the screen. You see the circle of stuff that kind of covers a lot of characteristics. That's like what 98% of the population does. So there in the middle, all these things are how a lot of people just live their life, like just kind of getting by, playing it safe, settling for what is just okay, kind of living life in survival mode, right? Being like everybody else. That's the way a lot of people live life. But research tells us about 2% of the population live outside of that, and they have what we call a 2% mindset. You know, going for your dreams, man, being confident, being excited, acting, you know, just very passionate about what it is that you're doing, choosing to be happy, exploring new things, embracing things that may be brand new to you or unknown. That's courageous leadership. That's living in a courageous way and not just kind of settling and retreating and like, well, my friend's not going out for baseball, so I'm not going to go out for baseball. Or, you know, something else like just letting other people dictate who you are. So I want to just challenge you with that. I want you to think about living like a 2% mindset and not just settling to be like everyone else. All right. Leaders Creed's on the screen today, talks about being disciplined, focused, and on time, organized, respectful, and responsible. If someone in your class wants to share that today, you can pause this and someone can share the creed. In just a minute, I'll lead us in the pledge. All right, I'd like to invite you to stand today. We're going to pay honor to our country. The Pledge of Allegiance is all about each one of us uniting and basically pledging that we believe that our country is committed to liberty, which is freedom, and justice, which is fairness and opportunity for every single person. So I invite you to join with us today. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hope you guys have a fantastic Tuesday. Be courageous as you continue to grow as a young leader. Have a great day, guys.